Alrighty, hello everyone. Today is March 4th, 2022, and I'm going back to the woods because we'll be doing maple syrup. The season is going to start tomorrow, so we're going to tap today. This is my first time, or my first season in terms of gathering maple syrup, so we'll see how it goes. In December, I made a clearing in our forest, and it's going to turn into our sugar shack area in the future, but I'll show you guys what we've done there so far. And here's our rig. It's a Polaris Sportsman, a 6x6, and I really appreciate it because you get a lot of surface area with these extra set of tires on the back, so you actually sit on top of the snow pretty well. And where I am currently, we get a lot of snow, so I'll take you back there and we'll see how it goes. And this machine, it's pretty cool because it has a high and low gear on it. And then this is my 6-wheel drive switch right here in yellow. So as you can see, going through this snow, it gets a little sketchy, but it just powers right through it. So we'll go back to the sugar shack area. So with the fields, we kind of had on and off weather, but tomorrow's supposed to be plus 12, and then the next day is supposed to be plus 6. So, and then from there on, it's supposed to be positive temperatures. This is probably the last negative day we'll have for a while. So, and I think I have around 26 to 30 something buckets there, but in the back we've got about 80. So we'll see. Beautiful day though. So I'll show you guys our setup. That being said, this is our first season, so there will be some room for improvements. However, I think we've got a great start to what we're doing. So these are one of the logging trails in our hardwood forest, and or these are one of the trails in our forest, and this is an all new section of trail, and this is specifically for the sugar camp. So this was all forest at one point, and then we made a little clearing for it. I have a 1,000-liter tote that we'll be using to store the sap in. And here we are. I've also made some additional trails throughout the woods to gather the sap, and I'll show you guys that later. Alright, so I've tapped some trees here. These are my first 2 buckets that I've tapped. My first ever. And check it out. Very cool. I cannot wait for this season. That's awesome. Okay, so the sun is on its way down. Probably have about an hour left out here. I've got a good start to it, which is awesome. It's really fun, considering it's my first time. It's all new to me, and I'm doing a great job, I think. So I have a bunch in the woods there, and this thing is an absolute feast in the snow. It just sits right on top, which is awesome. Alrighty, sorry guys, I got carried away working. So basically, I'll bring you guys back from the start. So this area was just forest at one point. At the start of December, that's when I started to do this. So this clearing wasn't here. I cut it down with a chainsaw and then used the tractor to make a brush pile over there, because that could potentially be used as future fuel. So my first initial point of attack was I needed to make a trail. So I flagged out some big trees in the back, some maples, and this was my initial trail. This is called the short loop. So it comes up a little bit of a ridge line here, and then it comes back down this trail. From there, I noticed the potential for the forest and how close all the maples were. So I decided to make a longer loop that goes back down here into the section that I call the honey hole, because there's a bunch of maple trees that are very concentrated together. So that was a real bonus. And then I made this trail, which is just deemed the new trail because it was a new trail that I made at the end of the, like start of winter kind of. So that comes up and then kind of meanders on in the back of the woods there. And you can kind of see now it's unique because there's a big concentration of maple trees here, and then it's surrounded kind of like an apron effect of pine trees. So that's very interesting to me anyways. So basically my plan for today was to tap trees. It's the first time I've ever tapped them. I've done lots of research on the internet, and I've done a good job from my perspective. I haven't shown much of it, but basically, here you go. And I drilled 2 inches into each tree, so I have about 20 more buckets that I should be putting out for tonight, and that'll bring me to 100. But here's my setup real quick. There's about 6.5 cord of firewood in here. My dad, brother, and I helped build this tent, and my girlfriend as well. And then I made this custom furnace, or custom evaporator pan, or arch, sorry, out of an old oil tank. So I cut the top off, I put the top into the center. I have tin flanges on the sides to help direct the heat. I've got an old grate, and with this grate I have a draft door, a substantial one, because I see a lot of people on the internet, they're always talking about how they wish their draft door was bigger. And then I also have a high flow pipe, which is 2 inches in diameter. That is going to power a turbine fan that I'm going to put on the end of this when I need some heat. Then I have my loading door, and that's that. I think some future improvements I'm going to use would be maybe to use some fiberglass gaskets on the sides. I'm going to be putting some patio stones on the back and on the sides here to help contain some heat. This is just my first season, so I hope to have future improvements with this. And then I have a warming pan set up here, and then I did this way because I had a 5-foot oil furnace, so I had to extend it a little bit here, so I just made these cool brackets, pretty funky. So I have a 15 quart warming pan that my friend helped build, and then I also have a 2x5 divided pan here, so it'll be very fun to see how this works for the first time. And then I also have like the old standard buckets, the aluminum ones, and then I also sourced these from the local bakery, so I had a nice deal with them and they hooked me up big time. I don't have the tubing yet for those, but I'm thinking about getting that as well. I know I have lots of buckets, so I have no issues with that. So pretty cool. Okay, my battery's at 1%, but I just finished what I wanted to do for the day. So it was around 100 plus taps, just around like 100 to 110. So I'm gonna go home now and take a sleep because it's well needed. All right, bye.